Good afternoon, everyone. Today is October 28th, 2025. It's 3 p.m. This is the City of Prescott voting meeting. Do we have any announcements or
I do, Mayor.
bulletins or something else?
I
Mayor
have
Pro Tem?
announcements. Yes, I do. Let's see, we've got several. I am pleased to share that on October 15th, Governor Katie Hobbs signed and approved the city's open space charter amendment, the Proposition 484. The proposition was passed by Prescott voters at the August 5th primary election to strengthen protections for designated open space areas and reinforce the city's dedication to sustainable growth and environmental conservation. This significant milestone reflects our community's commitment to preserving natural landscapes and ensuring responsible land stewardship for future generations. The council thanks all of its citizens, city leaders, and partners who supported the initiative and helped make the vision a reality. So congratulations. I don't know if Bonnie McMinn is there, but congratulations to everybody who really put their life and soul into that. That was a lot of work. Number two, the City of Prescott is inviting residents, business owners, and visitors to share their experiences and ideas as part of the Dexter Near North Business District Pedestrian Safety Study. This is a community-driven initiative focused on making local streets safer and more accessible for everyone. Feedback collected will directly inform the development of a pedestrian safety plan tailored to the Dexter Near North Business District, ensuring that future improvements align with community priorities. For more information and to help shape a safer, more connected Prescott, visit participateprescott.com to take the survey. Number three, the city's Economic Development Department is conducting a business survey to help better understand the needs, challenges, and opportunities facing local businesses. The survey will help to tailor future programs, policies, and investments to support business growth and a dynamic economic environment. All businesses located in the city of Prescott are encouraged to participate in the survey, which is available on participateprescott.com now through November 15th. Number four, the city offices and the city transfer station will be closed on Tuesday, November 11th, in recognition of Veterans Day. Normal operations and hours will resume on Wednesday, November 12th, with city offices opening at 8 a.m. and the transfer station opening at 7 a.m. Additionally, the Solid Waste Division will not be collecting residential or commercial routes on Veterans Day. Collection on Monday will proceed as usual, and all other routes will be delayed by 1 day, with collections occurring on the following business day. For additional information, please contact the City of Prescott Solid Waste Division at 928-777-1116 or visit www.prescottrecycles.com. And that's it, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate having almost a full chamber today. I know a lot of people are here because they're graduates of the Citizens Academy, which we'll be announcing during our presentations. And also, we've got Josh from Jersey Lily, so I hope the people in the attendance will be encouraged to support the courthouse lighting program this year. We'll now have an invocation. Is Pastor Barr here? Pastor Barr from the Willow Hills Baptist Church, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance from Councilman Gambogi.
Thank you for having me. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Oh, dear Lord, first and foremost, we give you thanks for the privilege of living in such a beautiful city as Prescott. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to raise our families here and enjoy all that it has, Lord, and even to work here. And Lord, I lift up all those who are in leadership, Lord. We know there's stress and anxiety that comes with that kind of being in leadership, and so we just lift them to you, especially even their families who sometimes feel the results of that tension, Lord. And I just pray, especially for this meeting. I pray, Lord, for all the decisions that need to be made, for wisdom. I pray for all who's going to speak, God, that we just hear and be led by what is best for this community and for each other. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start off with roll call and then we'll move to the presentations.
Mayor Good,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantelmi,
Here.
Councilwoman Fruworth,
Here.
Councilman Gambogi,
I am here.
Councilman Grady,
Here.
Councilman Montoya,
Here.
and Councilman Moore.
Here.
All are present.
All right, we'll start our presentations with Josh Marquardt from the Friends of the Jersey Lily Annual Courthouse Lighting Fundraising Event. That was a mouthful.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me today. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. So today I'm here on behalf of the Friends of Jersey Lily Saloon. As you all know, and if you don't know, you should know, that we are the largest supporter of the annual courthouse lighting. Last year, we raised $118,500, almost paying for the whole thing. So that's not possible without this community that stands behind us and all the volunteers that sit on the Friends of Jersey Lily Saloon. This year, our goal, we're going to keep it mild at $120,000, so we don't have to exceed too much more the following year. Thus far, we have raised $35,000 and counting. We really go into things starting in November. Sponsors that I'd like to mention are Spice Traveler, Whiskey Row Boot Race, bringing two best times a year in Prescott Frontier Days week, as well as Arizona's Christmas City together. And then new this year is Culver's of Prescott. So thank you to all of them for helping make this possible. Other things that we've got going on are raffle tickets. Remember, these come with a donor bulb. They are posted on the back bar at Jersey Lily Saloon and through the middle of January. So throughout the holiday season, write a fun memo, put your business name, your name, however you want to do it. We'd love to display your information down there. You can purchase these by coming into the bar now until January 15th, or you can go online at thefriendsofjls.com. The raffle items that were donated by Artful Eye Jewelers is a beautiful pair of earrings. Also, Bill and Mary Nebecker have donated a Proud and Free bronze, which is really pretty and on display downtown at the Jersey Lily Saloon. And of course, Louie over at Prescott Tire Pros has donated a set of 4 Michelin tires. If you are here today, you probably drove and you need a raffle ticket starting at $25. Also, so in November, we have our auctions. We have a silent auction that takes place online, only opens on November 3rd. That's a Monday coming up, and that'll run for 7 days online only. We have great stuff on there. Perfect place to do your Christmas shopping. If you have a business, remember this is a charity, 501c3. It's tax season right around the corner, so come support a great cause as well as get those tax deductions. Again, all this is online at thefriendsofjls.com. Our live auction, that's a fun night. Takes place up at Jersey Lily Saloon on November 6th. Doors open at 4 p.m. I hope to see everybody down there. We will have dinner served by El Charro Norte from 4 to 5, bidding starting at 5:30. You can view these items online as well and pre-bid if you would like, the 24 hours prior if you can't make it in person. So again, 2 auctions, silent auction online for 7 days, and our in-person event on Thursday, November 6th, doors open at 4 p.m. Also, we wrap the season up with our Lights Out Party and Raffle. That's held up at Jersey Lily Saloon on January 15th at 5 p.m. I know I've said a lot of information, so I'm going to repeat it one more time. The Friends of JLS.com has all of this information, all the auctions, sponsorship info, raffle ticket purchases. You can find it all there. We appreciate the community support greatly. All of our council members' support. What we do is not possible without the hundreds of donors that we have through this community, because we can go out there, beat the streets, do everything we want, but without monetary or item donations, none of it matters. So thank you all for being a part of it. And last but not least, I hope you guys brought your wallets today. If I can grab some money from you, that'd be great.
Yes, that's a tradition that we've all been trained in and expect. So here you go. So everybody out there in the audience, I hope you're inspired. So now,
Thank you very much. That's all I've got for you.
thank you, Josh. You do a great job there, and every year it just gets, it's such an iconic event that we all are very proud of. So thanks for your support in organizing this. You do a great job.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me today.
Now, Mayor Pro Tem and I will be presenting the graduation certificates to the Citizens Academy that just completed their academy term. So if you're a member of the academy, please step up here in front of the podium, and we'll be presenting your certificates.
Thank you all for taking time out of your busy lives to learn about local government. And we hope to see you on all boards and committees, and maybe somebody will run for city council out of the group. It's happened before. So I'm going to say your names. I'll give you this, and we'll get a picture real quick. So the first one is Sylvia Ackley. Let me see. Let me make sure this is. Yep. Where is Sylvia? She might be here. Okay. Donna Anderson. Here, I'll take. Oh, hi, Donna. Congratulations. Thank you. Here, what? Are we going to get an individual picture? Why don't you stand over here with the mayor? Or do we want to do it all at the end? How would you like to do it, Mayor? Individually or? Okay, great. Okay. Sheila Conley. Congratulations, Sheila. Mark Felix. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mark. Donna Gallagher, did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. Gallagher. Congratulations. And you must be related. Boyd, come on up. Congratulations. Yeah.
That was a good guess.
Congratulations. Paul Gentosi, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is it? Okay, great. Congratulations. And another member, Marie Gentosi. Congratulations. Thank you. Robert Gilbo. Did I do that? Okay. I should have checked that before. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Pamela Gillespie? Not here today? Okay. Lori Gumberg? Yay. Congratulations, Lori. Congratulations. And David Gumberg?
Yes.
I love to see all these couples. This is great. I know what you talk about at home around the dinner table.
Yes.
Yeah. Brent Hughes? Brent, congratulations, Brent. Very nice. Thank you. And Susan Hughes. Are you guys together?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dan Hurlbert. Did I get that right? Great. Congratulations, Dan. Thank you. And you're pulling double duty. Kathy Keith. Kathy, congratulations. Congratulations. And another couple, Jay Keith, come on up. Congratulations. Very good. Thank you. And Andrea Mercado, not here today. Caroline Quessenberry. Did I get that right? Congratulations. Congratulations. Irene Varelis. Thank you, Irene. Congratulations. And Janelle Valhoffensef. Did I get that close? Not here to even tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. Well, thank you again. Thank you all. We'll go ahead and get a picture with the mayor and everybody. Podium.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that academy. And as I said at the very beginning, you're going to have a much better understanding of how our city operates. And we hope that you'll take all that education to heart and then maybe volunteer to serve on one of our boards, commissions, and committees. Thank you all again.
Mayor, do you want me to just hand you the proclamation form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you sons of the American Revolution. Thank you. Jack, Bill, how you doing, Hal? Ron, how you doing, Alan? Yeah, this is kind of a special deal for me since I'm now a member of the Sons of the American Revolution. About a year ago, when they asked the same proclamation to be given, there was a little typo in it. So I decided, well, I'm not just going to arbitrarily fix it. I'll go to their website and double check on their mission statement. So on that website, there was a little genealogy component. I said, what the heck? I'll click on that and put my name in and see what pops up. Son of a gun, I always thought I was an Irish Paddy. But it turns out my ancestors came here from England back in the early 1600s, and I was a direct descendant of Judge Robert Good, who was named a judge by Patrick Henry, the governor of Virginia at the time. And he ended up buying a piece of property that's just south of the Appomattox River, about 60 miles west of Richmond, from his next door neighbor, Thomas Jefferson. So, I mean, I was just gobsmacked, and Jack here convinced me to become an active member. So with that said, there you go. Whereas the Prescott chapter of the Arizona Society is part of the National Sons of the American Revolution, organized in 1889 and federally chartered in 1906, is celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of America. And whereas the Prescott chapter stands as the cornerstone of community pride by engaging in various activities, including educational programs, community service, and commemorative events to honor the legacy of the founding fathers and remembering with gratitude the sacrifices of all veterans who placed themselves in harm's way to obtain and preserve American freedom, beginning with the Revolutionary War and fostering a spirit of patriotism and historical awareness among residents. Whereas the Prescott chapter plays a vital role in preserving the history of the American Revolution by promoting the principles of liberty and democracy established during the American Revolution, including civic responsibility and inspiring future generations to appreciate and uphold the values of freedom and democracy instituted by their ancestors and made America a beacon of liberty. Now, therefore, I, Phil Good, Mayor of the City of Prescott, do hereby recognize the Prescott chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution for celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America. And I encourage all citizens to recognize and honor the enduring memory of our patriotic ancestors and the principles expressed in the Declaration of Independence. There you go, Jack.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure Jack has a few comments to make. He always does.
We may look like we fought in the war, but I assure you, we weren't there. So, you want to get can you get a picture of all of us? Okay, what are you?
Get a what? Oh.
We have a website. You might be a member, or could be a member, and eligible if you have a patriotic ancestor.
Sir, sorry, I need you to speak into the microphone.
You have to talk in the microphone.
You couldn't hear me? Okay. If you think you descend from a patriot, whether you're a female or male, you're eligible to join either the Daughters of the American Revolution or the Sons of the American Revolution. The Prescott chapter here has our own website. We've had it for a number of years. Just Google Sons of the American Revolution Prescott. You can go on to that site. You don't have to have a password. And on the front of the homepage, you'll have the name of the registrar, who happens to be standing right there. And he would be the person that you would be dealing with for the Sons of the American Revolution. This is a very patriotic community. We see flags up flying everywhere. So if you think you're a patriot and you're interested in joining, take a look at that website. Thank you.
All right, and as the mayor makes his way back to his seat, I'll get us going on the next topic, which is our open call to the public. The City of Prescott welcomes public engagement. Residents may comment and address the council regarding matters that are not included on the posted agenda during the call to the public. If you wish to speak, please complete a green speaker card and submit it to me prior to the meeting being convened. As a reminder, speakers are limited to 4 minutes, and the call to the public will be limited to 40 minutes in total, with the following stipulation. Citizens will be limited to addressing the council on the same topic only 4 times in total. If a topic has been addressed more than 5 times by different speakers, the mayor may limit future discussion on the topic, and topics of a primarily national concern may be limited at the discretion of the mayor. I do have 3 comment cards today, and the first one is from Michael Marchand.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I want to take a moment today to thank the Mayor and the Council for postponing any votes regarding the SR 89 effluent and wastewater project. This has been and continues to be a complicated project. As we move forward, here are a few measures for future success. Reliable effluent and wastewater lines that will support our needs for decades and get done in record time to minimize disruption. Improve safety and traffic flow achieved through decisions made on thorough, factual, and credible information. The remaining 85% work will be done by a world-class company demonstrating engineering excellence and rigor through a design process that is free from shortcuts, embarrassing mistakes, omissions, and exaggerations. More on this in a moment. Following all external and internal policies and regulations to a T to assure full compliance and transparency. Absolutely no exceptions or shortcuts here. A fiscally responsible solution with complete, accurate, and transparent costs, and with the goal of no change orders. Finally, a solution that embraces the deep values of the community and region. Again, thank you for listening to the people of Prescott. I have one more topic. Kimley Horn. You can do so much better than a local office B squad. They had a $997,000, $713 try before you buy contract, and they failed miserably. Cut them loose in November. Exhibit A, they couldn't be bothered to produce a comprehensive 15% report for all of us that summarized the work done to date while providing specific and detailed conclusions. This report was promised in Section 3.6 of Kimley Horn's Scope for Professional Consulting Services, dated November 5th, 2024, but it was never delivered. Instead, we have to draw on our own 15% conclusions from 161-page traffic reports, complex geotechnical reports, convoluted sketches, third-party studies, and a few PowerPoint slides. But wait, there's more to know. They collected 1 day of traffic data and fought like crazy to convince the world that this is somehow just fine. They somehow forgot to include $10.7 million in roundabouts in the $36 million cost for alternative 3B and 5B. Embarrassing. They used invalid ADOT data to incorrectly justify a 2.75% growth rate and were too proud to admit their mistake. Roundabouts to nowhere were placed at intersections with virtually no ingress or egress. And we still know nothing about the condition of the existing pipes. Finally, they blatantly ignored the SIMPO, now Y plan, recommendation to delay widening until 2041, despite being a technical contributor to the 2050 RTP. I'll stop here. Kimley Horn's contract expires on November 12, 2025.
You have 30 seconds.
Crank up your supplier selection process and pick another company to complete the remaining 85% of the design. It's not too late. Remember, the 15% mark consists of only concepts, possible alternatives, high-level requirements, and preliminary technical studies. No detailed engineering has been done at all in the past year. Thank you.
Marion Pack.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm here to address the City Council in support of Patrick Grady. The court case initiated by Sherry Hanna and her lawyer is grasping at straws over her sour grapes in the effort to have Mr. Grady removed from the council. Since his appointment, Patrick Grady has at all times acted in the city's best interest. I will add that I don't understand the legality of how the Republican Party can demand a member take a pledge not to vote for anyone but a Republican. It's like demanding a person gives up their rights to free speech. On top of it all, since the mayor and the council are nonpartisan positions in the city of Prescott, political party shouldn't be a consideration anyway. This is supposed to be nonpartisan, you're supposed to be nonpartisan, and the election is supposed to be nonpartisan. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Dustin Henson.
Thank you, Mayor. Whoop. There we go. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and staff. I am here representing the cottages at Lakeside HOA. We're a small community in northern Prescott. I see a couple of nods. Hopefully some of you have noticed the emails that have come by recently. I don't want to belabor the issues. It's too much for this meeting. I mainly wanted to come here and look you all in the eyes and ask you. I know you have staffs and they probably receive a good deal of that email. Please educate yourself on our 25-year-old community, how we have been privately paying for sewer infrastructure because the city was not able to accommodate us at the time we were built because of the fragility of the local system. That system is now being modernized. And in the 11th hour, unbeknownst to us, we were dropped from the project. We were on the list of people that are organizations that was supposed to be added because we have been waiting since that point in time. Councilman Gambogi, thank you very much for responding. You're the one person that did. It was 4 words. Thank you. I'll look into it. I'll try. That's what I would like to get from all of you, because I don't think I have to sell you on anything. I just have to ask you to take a look. The facts will speak for themselves. And I don't want to detract from the hard work of the people of the city. I don't believe anyone is malicious here. But I personally have worked for a city before, and I know the mechanism can build up a certain momentum, and common sense and doing the right thing sometimes fall victim to that. The one thing, at least in the area I worked, that could really expedite things and bring common sense back was a few words from elected officials like yourselves to give people the luxury to do the right things that maybe the bureaucracy makes difficult for them the rest of the time. So I'm looking you all in the eye. Thank you very much for your time. And please just take 5 minutes, take a look at the document we sent, educate yourselves, and just put in a word for us if you can, encouraging those people to find a way to connect us. Otherwise, our citizens who pay full taxes, by the way, we do not have any discount on our sewer, will have to overhaul, do a modernization project of our own on a private sewer system that the city should have taken over long ago. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for your interest in this topic. Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have 6 items on our consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull any items?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull 9B.
9B. Anyone else have any items to pull? Then I'll entertain a motion on the remaining items.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve 9A, C, D, E, F on the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you, Mayor. My concern with the subject matter for item 9B is that we're being asked to approve a final plat that in the documentation on page 40 is dedication terms that my understanding from talking to representatives of the Prescott Lake Community Association bind them to items that are not aligned to nor accepted at this point. And my concern is that now if the city goes ahead and proves it, we're potentially binding ourselves with some other aspects that might play out that would not be good for us. So I want to ask Joe if you could comment on the situation. I know you've had a chance to talk to folks.
Yeah, so generally speaking, on a final plat, our review is limited. It's substantial conformance with the preliminary plat. In this case, we do have a contractual agreement with both the developer as a successor and with the community association through the development agreement. They also have additional agreements through the CC&Rs. And this is what I think you brought up, that our review is limited, but there's a question about efficiency given that there is this dispute between these parties. And we know through the CC&Rs, although we don't enforce CC&Rs, but if it's not approved by the community association, then it's void. So there's a chance that we could be back here again to address this same issue if it was approved today. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, I believe that it would be in the city's best interest at this point to move to postpone this final plat approval until a future date, pending that all the parties that are legally involved and are specifically cited in this final plat agreement have reached agreement. So I don't want to move forward today. I'd like to make a motion that we postpone this final plat until we are made aware that everything is copacetic.
Second. Before we vote, I want to recognize Councilman Montoya had a question.
Yeah, my question is, in my time on council, my understanding of final plats is that the council's role is to determine if staff has found substantial conformance to the preliminary plat. And so I have one question, which is this final plat in substantial conformance to the preliminary plat?
Yeah, thank you. Randy Parham, City Engineer and Deputy Director for Public Works, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, thank you. So in the opinion of staff and as your City Engineer, I would say that yes, it is in conformance with the final plat. I've been intimately involved in this project for 2 years. Actually, as soon as I started with the city in November of 2023, the grading plans came across my desk a month later. So I've been involved with this project for close to 2 years. Happy to answer any questions about the grading plans, the preliminary plat, the master plan from 2005, any of those questions. I'm here at your discretion. So,
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I also want to echo what Lois said. I have some concerns, but I also have some concerns going way back to the original development agreement. And then the many amendments that have taken place over the last several years. Just on several that I have looked through, there may be some issues with following the agreements that we as a city have agreed through the development agreement. So I'm with Lois. I'd like to postpone this and potentially have a study session, and our city clerk can see where she can insert that study session. I think everybody needs, including the community, needs a little better understanding going back from the very beginning when the development agreement for this community was agreed upon and signed off on.
Councilman Grady.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I had a question with the language for this particular item. It speaks to a 48 lot subdivision, but on the page 35 of the packet, it's 54. Does that make any difference?
where are you seeing 48 lots? Are you looking at the master plan?
In our ordinance that we're.
If I can help, it's in the agenda item language.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I think there was go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Chelsea Walton, Community Development Director. The difference is the pre-plat was approved with the 54, and now the final plat is being proposed with 48, which is still in substantial conformance with the preliminary plat. You can decrease in lots, lot count you can't increase. Does that answer your question, sir?
It does, but then why wouldn't we have an updated plat map that shows the 48 lots instead of the 50?
The final plat is in your packet, I believe. Do we have a page number on that? I'll grab that for you. It is in the packet. The final plat and the pre-plat, we put them both in the packet so you can cross-reference what you'd like. I'll get you a page number.
Well, I too had some questions about the accuracy of the information in our packet. When we approved the preliminary plat and the packet that we're looking at today, it references May of 2005, May of 2005, when in fact the City Council approved the amended master plan that was dated August of 2005. So apparently, and I'm looking at page 45 of our packet, it shows a map, and in the lower right it says May of 2005. So we may have been using an inaccurate draft of the amended final master plan.
Yes, I can answer that question.
Yeah,
so
can you?
May 27th, 2005 is when the documents were submitted, but it wasn't brought before council for approval until August 9th of the same year.
But my understanding, there was substantially more information than what was originally presented, with a substantially higher number of maps that were involved. So why didn't we have that in our packet?
So I'm referring to NPA 05-002, which was approved on 8/9/05.
Right.
And as the exhibits to that master plan amendment, there are several exhibits with the dates that you're referring to of May 2005, and more specifically, May 27th, 2005. So these were the documents that were attached
So
as
in
exhibits.
2000, in August, they had the 2005 maps that were included when the council approved it.
Correct.
Okay.
And Mayor, I just would like to let you know that you do have public comment too, as well, if you want to take that when council's done with
Yeah, I
their
would like to
discussion.
take public comment before we vote.
Councilwoman Fruworth, did you have something else before that? Okay. Kathy Rusi?
Thank you. Prescott Lakes is a wonderful master plan community with a development agreement, and it has been held up as a shining example of a wonderful community to live in. And unfortunately, the city has not been following the development agreement or their master plans. If you look at the development agreement, it gives authority to the HOA to approve all plats. And we haven't been doing that. For example, like we just discussed, this is not the right plat. Our memo also says that it would allow up to 821 dwelling units. That's not on the plan anywhere. Why is that included? And then it also says that it's in satisfaction of the master plan, 20% open space. Well, the area we're talking about was a beautiful ridge, and it was protected. It was supposed to be 90% open space. What happened to that? That was not followed. So I met yesterday with Mr. Jim Moore, the HOA president, and we talked about another problem, which was trying to turn make a connector road going through Astoria, which is a totally separate neighborhood. And that is against the master plan. The access road should be down there on Smoke Tree. So there's a lot of issues about detention basins, who's supposed to be maintaining the landscape. The developers want the city of Prescott to maintain their private property. We need to step back from this and let the HOA take care of their business, because if you approve this plat, this final plat, it shoots them out of the water, and the developer can keep going ahead and rolling over them. They don't want to go to court, but that apparently is going to be their last option if they keep getting mixed messages from the city and from the developers. Thank you.
Scott Carpenter?
Thank you. Mayor and members of the council, Scott Carpenter, Carpenter Law Firm. I'm an attorney. I represent the Prescott Lakes Community Association. The developer property owner has to comply, of course, with the existing development agreement and the existing master plan. There's no question about that. The reality under Arizona law is that a property owner has to comply with all municipal requirements, and the property owner has to comply with recorded covenants, CC&Rs as we call them. There's no question about that. What becomes an issue is, what is the order of operations? the simple sort of mathematical concept of what order do we go in? What order do they go in? Has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with my client. Does the developer come here first? Does the developer go to my client first? And the answer is do both. Do it however you want to. For simplicity, perhaps you would prefer that the developer go to my client first. Perhaps for simplicity, my client would prefer that the developer come to my client first. That's probably the answer. The factual reality is that the developer does not have the approval of the Prescott Lakes Community Association. And Mr. Young said it correctly. The CC&Rs for the Prescott Lakes Community Association state that the plat must have the approval signature that's notarized of the Prescott Lakes Community Association. And the plat that's been put before you does not have a signature block, even blank, of the Prescott Lakes Community Association. It doesn't even contemplate that it would go on there. It's completely ignored. Thank you.
Jim Gehring and Councilman Grady, Chelsea asked that I let you know that the plat is on page 40 of the packet.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, Council, good afternoon. I'm Jim Gehring. I live in Prescott Lakes. And in fact, I live in the Parkside neighborhood, and I'm the elected voting member for that neighborhood in Prescott Lakes. Therefore, I go to all board meetings of Prescott Lakes Community Association. And the fact is, you've heard that this plat map has matters assigned to Prescott Lakes that obviously encumber it financially, and it hasn't agreed to do that. Things like storm drains, streets, slopes, open space. You'll remember that I've been a city engineer for 44 years. The convention I'm familiar with is that you make sure that all parties that are affected by a final plat map sign the map in approval of those things that are being assigned to them. That hasn't happened here. There's a couple of technical points I'd like to make, and to clarify this issue about the latest master plan for Prescott Lakes. The one in the agenda packet is not. The master plan amendment of August 9th, 2005 consists of 15 pages and many different maps and extensive instructions on grading and parts of property that are supposed to be left undisturbed. And it appears to the association that has not been complied with. So that's a huge issue if the association is going to be required to maintain slopes and the like, because this map may assign responsibilities to the association that are exceptionally expensive. And the last point I want to make is to remind you that the mayor and city attorney and city clerk signed that agreement back in 2004 that says that all development within Prescott Lakes shall be in accordance with the Prescott Lakes Master Plan. And so far as we can tell, this one is not. Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
Councilman Grady.
No further comment.
Councilman Montoya.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a question it sounds like there's some discord related to the CCNRs and the master plan at play here as it relates to this. But my understanding is that the city doesn't have a role as an arbiter between the community association, their CCNRs, and the developer. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, the city doesn't enforce CCNRs and take a role in it. That's correct.
So I hear some stuff about that, but I guess to me, I would imagine that if I was a member of a homeowners association, I felt like a developer wasn't conforming to the established master plan, I wouldn't come to city council. I would hire an attorney and sue them in court. So that's my first thing. The second thing is that I would think that what we're charged with doing here today is approving a final plat. And for years we have done this, and for 4 years I have done this. And the only measure of approving a final plat is if staff says over there that it's in substantial conformance with the preliminary plat, which he has already said, but I'll ask again, is this in substantial conformance with the preliminary plat?
It is.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you. When we are the paperwork for the final plat, again, I refer to page 40 in our package. It refers to dedication, some notes, and some CCNRs, and that is what the mayor and others here from the city sign off on. And on that paperwork, it says that the CCNRs, are that this Prescott Ridge is governed by the amended CCNRs. It says, and I'm sorry because this is in microscopic font, that the, where is it? That the plat hereby dedicates slope easements to the city of Prescott and maintenance of public roadways. And where does it say? Someone back there who knows this better than me. It talks about that the landscaping and all of the other things are going to be maintained by the association. So this is in the final plat. And the problem is when we as a city put our approval on it, that it's all amended and everyone's in alignment, and we find out they're not, then for me, that's not in substantial conformance. And so that's my concern right now, that we don't find ourselves in the middle of another potential legal matter. So if we could wait a little bit and get everyone to align and then we bring this forward, that's what I'm looking for, is to avoid us being in the middle of something that we should not be in the middle of, but it's here on the paperwork we have to sign off on.
Mayor, may I, I'm the developer.
I think you need to fill out a card.
Do I?
Luther Kraxberger.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, thank you. Just as Mr. Carpenter said, it's a good idea to get board approval, which I went to, presented final plat with all the comments that you have, with all the various items and discrepancies and what have you. All of those were on there. The one thing that I got back in writing said that Tract E was something that they disagreed with. Went through extensive time and extensive resources were spent to alleviate this problem. We did that. We took care of it. We worked with staff, who was fantastic. Got rid of Tract E, took care of that problem. Now, mind you, everything else that you see on the final plat was on there. So this was in July. We have that in writing from Mr. Carpenter. And we get that resolved, present the board of directors with this new cleaned up plat, and there's all these new things. So to address your comment, if I'm to address these other things, what's to stop this round robin. That's just a question in general, but it does rely and conform to substantial conformance. It has similar notes than the notes on every other plat in Prescott Lakes that's recorded. Similar to all the other, or the prior few plats, there's no board of directors signatures on those. If it's not recorded, or if this final plat isn't approved, there will be no legal access to Astoria 2. There's a few other things, but that just generally covers the comments that were made. So I would like to proceed and keep it on the approval agenda, or for approval.
Alex Fakula.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name's Alex Vakula. I'm a Prescott lawyer and practice in real estate law 35 years. We sent an email to the Prescott Lakes attorney down in Gilbert yesterday, Mr. Carpenter. What are the specific issues? Never articulated. When he stood up here, nothing articulated. The only thing I've heard up here is storm drains and streets. This preliminary plat was approved 3 years ago on October 31, this Friday. In 3 years, we've received no comments from the HOA specific that need to be addressed. Now, there's nothing this council can do to change the contractual relationship between a builder and the HOA. We are bound by the declarations, we are bound by the CC&Rs, and there's no dispute about that. And we need to conform with them. Every day, council and the city approves building permits. Just about every property in this county and across the street have restrictions, easements, declarations, and you can't get around them with some city approval. All we're asking today is for you to vote, is this in substantial compliance? Council says it is, and there's been nothing articulated by Mr. Carpenter to say otherwise. The HOA of Prescott Lakes, as big as it is, should not dictate what the council can do or shouldn't do. You have a duty under Ordinance 9.10.9 to talk to Planning and Zoning Council to see if this is in substantial conformance. If you're going to get in the game of going and looking at all recorded instruments, Joe will be reading title reports every week and figuring out what kind of recorded instruments are against the property before you can make a move. That's not how it works, and Mr. Carpenter knows that. There's been nothing articulated. We sent several emails to Mr. Carpenter's office, nothing articulated. And as Mr. Kraxenberg said, the issues that were raised months ago have been addressed. Now, there's nothing that on this final plat that gets us around the CC&Rs. We're still bound by them. We still got to comply with them, and we will. And if we can't work it out with them, then there'll be a litigation between us and the HOA. The city will not be involved. You cannot take action to change our contractual relationship. And we agree here today, on the record, we're bound by those contractual relationships. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council.
Okay, I think we've heard enough. I'll entertain a motion.
I have a motion on the table already with a second.
All right, then we need to vote on the motion, the second that Councilwoman Furworth proposed.
Could I, Mr. Mayor, could we reread the motion, please?
The motion was to table, is that correct, Councilwoman Furworth? Yes. And Councilman Grady, you were the second there? Thank you. Passes 5-2.
All right, so we're going to postpone this until we have a little additional information provided before we make a final decision on the final plat. All right, we'll move on to our item group 10 for liquor license.
Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license application from Lauren K. Merritt, applicant for Doc's Barbecue and Whiskey, location 202 South Montezuma Street. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
Does the council have any comments or concerns? Do we have any public comment on this?
We do not.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Have a motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Mayor, I move to approve with no recommendations for liquor license application number 359451 for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Doc's Barbecue Whiskey, location 202 South Montezuma Street.
So did you move to approve?
Approve.
You said
You
no
mentioned no
recommendation,
recommendation.
No, I said with no.
We didn't hear.
That's not the motion. It's either approve, deny, or make no recommendation.
Well, I move to approve.
And I second move to approve.
Okay. For liquor license application 358229 for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Doc's Barbecue and Whiskey, location 202 South Montezuma Street.
Very good.
Sorry.
Please vote.
I said with no.
Passes 7-0.
All right, we'll move on to 10B.
Public hearing and consideration for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license application from Michelle Ann Moore, applicant for the Copper Note, location 120 West Gurley Street. The application fee has been paid and the sign has been posted for the required 20 days. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that it is in compliance and no public comments have been received.
Does the council have any comments or concerns? Do we have any public comment?
No, Mayor.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Have motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
Mayor, I move to approve liquor license application number 359451.
Second.
Motion and second, please vote.
Passes 7-0.
All right, we'll move on to our regular agenda item 11A.
Approval of multiple items related to land purchases and design services for new fire stations as follows. Number 1, adoption of ordinance number 2025, approving city contract number 2026-101, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Prescott, Yavapai County, Arizona, approving city contract number 2026-101, a purchase agreement between the city of Prescott and James Revocable Trust, and subsequently authorizing the purchase of approximately 1.36 plus or minus acres of real property located at a portion of APN number 106-01-058A, and number 2, approval of city contract number 2026-098 with Perlman Architects for design services for the new fire stations project.
All right, Mayor and Council, Order Fire Chief. It is definitely a very, very good day for us to be able to bring these projects in front of you. Before I get into the details, I do want to make sure that I recognize the amount of people that have been involved in getting this item to the dais for you to consider today. This will represent the first major capital investment in public safety infrastructure and fire department in 35 years in the city of Prescott, and that is definitely a very big deal. I'm a big believer that I'm a temporary steward of this position. There were many fire chiefs before me and many members of our department that have advocated for this. There's also a lot of people that I'm looking at here on the dais that have definitely questioned us, challenged us, but also supported us in this effort. So I want to thank you as well and the countless people that were involved in these projects. So with that, the first item that we want to show
show you here is the coverage map that proposes these station locations and the coverage that we would subsequently receive. We covered this a little bit when we gave you a strategic plan update a couple of weeks ago, but I do want to just call your attention again to the sites that we are considering. First of all, it is a new fire station, Station 76, that is being proposed on Sundog Ranch Road, right at Prescott Lakes Parkway, and we'll talk a little bit through those sites in a little bit. And then a relocation of Station 73, the structural component that's currently at the airport, moving in essence to the Constellation Trailhead, and that is the land purchase that you see in front of you in your packet today. What you see is the coverage map, and that coverage map in the council memo, we highlighted one, I think, very important metric, and that is with the design contract as well as the upcoming construction contract, we're looking at approximately $1 invested in this capital infrastructure improves $48 of real property protected in the city of Prescott. City Prescott Fire Department covers $16 billion in replacement value, and we're increasing the number of address points that are going to be within the 0 to 4 minute travel time range by 10%. So that's an additional $1.6 billion of real property that will receive 0 to 4 minute coverage through these station locations. Let's talk about the locations themselves. This was the culmination of approximately 4 years of work. Our city GIS department, including Kat Moody, was extraordinarily helpful with getting these many locations looked at and reviewed, and really with a lot of discernment. The primary goal, of course, all the time was what is going to be the best coverage overall, and then balance that with other factors such as topography, building costs, adjacency to major arterials, and those are all considerations that we went through to consider those locations. And this is, again, what we arrived at. Really quickly, the other station that I did not mention in those new additions is our current Station 72. That location is not moving. It's actually in a very good location. The problem is that is originally a Central Yavapai Fire Protection District facility, or a fleet maintenance facility that was turned into a fire station. And it is definitely time for that station to modernize. But again, because of the location, we propose to keep it in this site. The other component of the design contract that is very important in terms of Station 72 is that we selected this architect in part because of their ability to give us an assessment of this particular property. It is a challenging lot. It's a narrow lot, but again, like I said, it's in a very good location. And this architect actually showed us a project in the city of Tucson that was almost identical, including some of the power lines that are in that location. And so we're really looking forward to seeing what the most cost-effective way will be to bring this station up to modern design standards. Station 73, that is again the airport fire station. The airport component is actually staying on site with an FAA-funded facility that is going to be built simultaneously, not attached to what we're talking about today. And it is the structural engine that is getting relocated into this location. One of the real important aspects of this is if you see Fippen Trail is in the future projected to go into the back end of Granite Dells. And that is a major coverage advantage for us with this location. So really, when we're talking about quick access to major arterials, whether that's 89, 89A, that for us was very attractive, including this connection to the Fippen Trail road right there. Station 76, again, this is the new additional station right there at Sundog Ranch Road. As you know, that intersection was recently signaled. That's a huge advantage for us because we can tie that into our emergency preemption on the fire trucks, which will allow us safe and easy access onto Prescott Lakes Parkway. Again, it is really close to major arterials, Prescott Lakes Parkway into Prescott Lakes itself, up towards Costco and the Gateway Mall, well, I should say Pine Ridge Ridge Marketplace now. And of course, all of those other locations. This is in essence the dead center of that bullseye that we had talked about for so long of the coverage gap along Rosser as well as along Prescott Lakes. And so really seeing significant improvements with this location. Another aspect of this station is that we will be relocating our battalion chief, which is currently at the White Spar station over here by Safeway. And as you can tell, that's not centrally located. And we have one battalion chief that supervises our companies. And so having the battalion chief more central at 76 will help us with that coverage as well, because it's not just about the first arriving fire engine, it's about the full complement of the effective response force that we bring to bear. One final piece that I do want to talk about really quickly about these station locations that's very important. You notice that these are co-located with trail systems and outdoor recreation. That's not by accident. Mr. Kimball has challenged us to make sure that we get the most bang for our buck with these investments, and we are looking forward to being closer to those recreational amenities. As you know, through my council updates, we do quite a few rescues, and technical rescue will be one of the focus areas of Station 76, and the quick, easy access to the Peavine Trail is going to give us a huge strategic advantage to serving those customers that may get hurt while they're recreating on our trail system. Station 72, the last thing I'll mention before I go to my last slide here. Station 72 over here on 6th Street, when we do that upgrade, we're looking also to implement low acuity initiatives. Talked to council a few times that really we need to build a backbone of fire engines first, but that is not precluding that we want to do something of responding smarter. And so in the future, once that station is able to have those resources, we're looking at having a more light response unit that's able to help us mitigate and lower the impact of those lower acuity calls, which also at the same time then raises the reliability of those engines at the same time. So it's a smart investment, and I wanted to highlight that because this is not just about building new facilities, this is also about the expansion of programming that directly is going to impact our ability to serve the community. So very, very exciting day. Last thing I wanted to show you is the traffic modeling, because that location at the Constellation Trail is, of course, very challenging. But as you can tell here, this is a mock-up of a fire engine exiting onto 89 and making a response there towards the airport with a fire signal, as well as a slip lane that Public Works can explain just a little bit better. Definitely, that's the other thing I wanted to highlight here is our partnership with our Public Works has been instrumental in this. As you can imagine, this is not fire department academy kind of stuff in terms of traffic modeling and capital investments. And so the ability for us to lean on our partners in Public Works to help us with this type of modeling has been very instrumental. With that, that's really the primary points that I wanted to introduce to you about the stations themselves, and of course, the significant improvement in response times that these investments are going to represent. If you move forward with approving this, of course, we would not let moss grow under our feet, and schedule our first design kickoff meeting as quickly as possible. The stations are projected to be built under a CMAR construction manager risk, which means that about 30% of the design phase, we would bring in a separate contract for construction. And I'm hoping that probably about this time next year, maybe a little bit earlier, we would see a shovel in the ground, and approximately 2 years after that, we'd have those stations open. So with that, any questions? I also would like to introduce Brian Sparks to talk a little bit about the land purchase that's involved here with Station 73.
Any questions or concerns for the chief? Councilman Moore?
Yes, I have several concerns with Station 76. I feel as a city we've had a history of co-locating incompatible uses with recreation areas. We see the transfer station, the tire recycling, adjacent to that most heavily used recreation facility that we have in the city, the Peavine Trail. And I see the co-location of a fire station adjacent. In fact, the picture that you had, the shading for that picture depicts that it covers the parking lot for the Peavine Trail. that green area. And I would like to know from our city attorney, is this property part of the open space that we voted on and said we're going to keep in perpetuity as open space?
That area right there is not, because it's described, it's right next to the Watson Woods, and it's the Watson Woods area as described in our lease with Watson Woods. So Watson Woods, the area is, but not that area.
Okay. So this area that is being proposed for Station 76, I remember having a conversation with Joe Baines several years ago when I was out with Joe and we were looking at how the wastewater facility at Sundog was going to be decommissioned and we were going to lose those ponds. And we had talked about maybe putting a pond right where you're proposing to put the fire station because we're going to be losing the ponds that were on the other side of the street. But I personally would prefer to see the fire station on the south side of Prescott Lakes Parkway instead of on the north side, so it's not right adjacent to the Humane Society, number one. You can't go to the Peavine Trail without hearing all those dogs barking constantly, and you know how dogs react to sirens, and having a fire station right next to the Humane Society isn't probably real compatible. And then all the horses and other users that are using that facility, it just doesn't seem like a great place. But literally, we own the property directly on the other side of the street as well. And you would have the same access that 76 would have in the current, or the location you're proposing. So I'd like to see it flip-flopped. Just put it on the south side of Prescott Lakes Parkway instead of on the north side of Prescott Lakes Parkway, because those ponds are going to be decommissioned and we own that property. So that's just my perspective as a nature lover and the value to our recreation areas. I just don't think it's compatible any more than having a transfer station or tire recycling or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the timeline is for decommissioning those ponds, but I imagine it's going to be a few years.
No, it relates to the effluent line
Yeah.
and the roadway on 89. That's all
Right.
part of this process.
Right. Gwen?
Mayor and Council, Gwen Rowage, Public Works. The decommissioning of Sundog will not occur until centralization is complete and the second expansion of the airport treatment plant is complete. You're looking at probably 7 to 10 years before that happens.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask a question of Gwen?
Go ahead, continue.
Thank you, Mayor. Gwen, I know that you've been building the new building on the south end of that property, south of the ponds. And there's other property over there. Is there room for a fire station, like in the proximity of that building that you just have been building?
So the building that you're referring to is the new street administration building.
Yes.
Adjacent to, in addition to that building, there are other structures that must be built there for storage of street materials. And so I would say that until some of the existing structures at Sundog are decommissioned, there really isn't sufficient land on that property for any other buildings.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or concerns? Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and thank you, Chief, for the introduction. Brian Sparks, Real Estate Administrator, and as Holger alluded to, so for Station 73, which is, as you can see it there in the diagram, which is just north of the Constellation Trail parking, we tried to be very good stewards of Prop 478 money, and the first thing we did was we scoured the city and the locations that Holger originally gave me for fire stations, and we really left no stone unturned trying to find city-owned property that we could use. And we did the same thing with the police evidence facility. This particular location, as Holger said, will improve those response times, allow them to work at the station at the airport, refigure things so that the response times are going down all over town. So in this location, which is owned by the James family, I started a dialogue with Ron James to acquire this parcel, which again is in your packet. That's 1.36 acres. It gives plenty of room for the fire station. It does allow for the Constellation Trail parking to remain there. So we're trying to utilize the city space that's already there along with the new space. As most of you are probably aware, fire stations, municipal fire stations, are exempt from zoning requirements. So we could pretty much put a fire station anywhere that we want, but this one, with its proximity to the roundabout, proximity to Phippen Trail, proximity to 89, proximity to the airport area, was just a perfect location. So in starting my dialogue with Ron James, we did not do a formal appraisal on this property. We valued it at $200,000. And that valuation came in based upon comparable sales that I have pulled up. I did a comparative market analysis using current appraisal standards. I found comparables over near Larry Caldwell that were commercial buildings, commercial lots that were very similar. We also had the recent purchase in June from the James family of the airport property at Deepwell Ranch. And so my comparative analysis actually came in a little slightly higher than 200. Don't tell Ron that, he's in the back of the room. But that is what we came up with. So that's what we plan to do. We have a 30-day escrow. The tentative contract is in your packets, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Councilman Montoya.
Brian, to you and the chief, I just want to say, I know that this has been, and Gwen for that matter too, a lot of effort on a lot of people's part. So I know this isn't easy, and I know you guys have been worrying over this for years, even before 478 came to be. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Thank you, Mayor. First, yes, my thanks to both the chief and Gwen, because I asked several times to see that model of how this was going to affect traffic in the roundabout. So thank you for getting that done. I appreciated that. I actually thought about it while I was doing the pre-work this weekend. I was like, I haven't seen a model. So there, you blew me away. I have no problem with this location now. My only concern is this is a multi-million-dollar facility, and my understanding is this is not in the boundaries of the city of Prescott. Is that true?
That is correct.
And so should we think about annexing this property into the city of Prescott so that we make sure that we're protecting our asset?
That's a very good argument to make, Councilwoman, and I would have that same argument with Willow Lake. All of that entire area is not in the city of Prescott, and it should be. So, but this small piece, I think, would be no problem to annex in. I think Chelsea left, but she could tell you the specific rules for small size parcels that get annexed. But my understanding is that, and I did bring that up to her, this would be relatively easy to do.
If this is easy to do, I think we should do it before we start spending millions of dollars. The Willow Lake, I like the idea, but that's a whole different topic to me than this.
The major question would be whether it's contiguous with city boundaries right now, and I don't know if it is, but it has to be contiguous with city boundaries as we currently have them drafted.
Yeah, and the city boundaries start right across, or right at the center line of 89. So we would be right there. Yeah.
You know, Chief, I did have a question. I was looking through all of the subcontractors that are being proposed to work with the primary general contractor, and they all seem to be quite experienced and capable. But when I came across this VLA Design LLC, this is a very, very small company. Arizona Corporation Commission indicates it has less than 10 employees. It's only been in existence for a year and a half. It hasn't done any work north of Peoria, so all areas in northern Arizona is inexperienced. I want to make sure that this business is capable of handling these landscaping designs. and that they are aware of the low water use plant palette that is required to be used, and access the ADWR website for that. I just find it a little peculiar that your general contractor would pick such a tiny little landscaping company that's so new and inexperienced. And the combination of all these contracts is about $85,000. That's almost their whole annual expected revenue source. I'm scratching my head here. Help me out.
Yep, absolutely. I'll answer the question generally, and then I'll ask Mr. Sherwood to come up and talk a little bit more about the specifics of the contract. However, when we looked at all the design firms, of course, as you know, there's no such thing as one firm that can design all of the components. And every design firm that we reviewed had some kind of aspect like that, some of them actually significantly more. One of the things that I do believe is going to balance that fairly well is the experience of Perlman Architects. They have done this not just in Arizona, but in the Arizona Highlands as well. And so it is definitely my expectation, based on the contract, the way that it's set up, that every contractor, regardless of size, is going to not just be able to perform on the timeline, but also within the guidelines that are specific to those subcontractor services. But with that, I don't know if you want to add anything on to that component. Okay, there you go. He said I nailed it pretty good.
Well, I know when we did the landscaping at the airport, the subcontractor put in species that weren't even drought tolerant. They never even used the ADWR plant palette.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to pull them all out and replace them. So I think it's not a real hard job, but it needs to be monitored, and we need to make sure that they follow those plant palette guidelines and get it done right the first time and not have to redo it.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tim Sherwood, Public Works. Yes, Mayor, like I said, as far as following the plant palette, the contractor will need to supply a submittal of all the plants that are planned, and anything that's not on our palette would not be approved.
That's encouraging.
Okay.
So let's make sure we do that. Councilwoman Furworth?
No, sorry.
Okay. Councilman Moore?
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm a little confused about the agenda, the write-up for item A. Are we only approving the purchase of the property for the station on 89, because you also discussed 72 and you discussed 76? So they're not a part of this agenda item?
So the purchase,
the location of those other...
Yeah, those are already city-owned properties, which is why there's no land purchase available. However, it's a combined agenda item of design services for all three stations and land purchase for Station 73 on 89. You are correct.
Okay.
Chief, how are you going to stop the traffic there? You just have a little line that's red or a line that's green.
That I'm definitely going to turn over to my friends at Public Works. Gwen, do you want to maybe address that?
Gwen again. So, Mayor, those little green lines on the VISM model represent a signal. There will be a preemptive signal there so that when the station is alerted that they have to go out, the doors go up, the engineer in the truck has a device that signals the signals to turn red, the traffic stops, and the truck comes out. So it's controlled by the driver of the engine, not by the doors going up or anything. It's controlled by the driver of the engine. So if they're not going out on an emergency, they're just going out for other reasons, they can wait their turn to get out just like anybody else. So I can let the chief speak to how many times a day that might occur, but it's really just a red light that goes off when the engineer pushes the button to make traffic stop so they can exit the
So
station.
it'll just default to green, except when it's activated.
It turns off.
It turns off?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilman Moore?
Gwen, can I ask another question? Sorry. I know that the approach to that, you're coming over a rise and down a hill.
Yes.
Is there going to be anything above the hill to indicate that that light's red so that traffic coming over that hill and all of a sudden you got cars backed up? Because I really like how you guys did the light at Prescott Lakes Parkway and Sundog Road, where the green is facing southbound traffic and the red is facing northbound traffic, or east or west. I think that's a great thing. It might be good to have something at the crest of that hill that would indicate that, hey, traffic ahead is stopped, because there's not a lot of lead time when you come over that hill to where that is.
Thank you for that input. We'll consider that in the design.
All right, any other questions or concerns? Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
No? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Are we making
Councilman
two
Gamble.
motions or one?
We still
Therefore-
have a presentation to make on the design contract, so that's what Tim's going to do that right now.
All right, well, that'd be good to
Always
see.
know when to stop selling.
Oh,
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tim Sherwood, Public Works. I'll try and keep this short and sweet for you. The last component that you'll be looking at today is to approve a design contract for the 3 locations that Chief Durham mentioned. The new stations at for Station 73, 76, and also a analysis of Station 72 and what we'll do with that long term. So again, much like we did a couple weeks ago with the police station, this was a design qualifications-based procurement, and RSOQ was advertised back in June, the first 2 weeks of June this year. Mandatory pre-proposal meeting was held with any interested parties in middle of June. Some of the evaluation criteria we looked at for the SOQ was experience and qualification of the firms and their personnel, proposed project approach, knowing where the locations are, and their value-added knowledge and experience. City received 9 statements of qualification on July 10th of this year. A 5-member review committee was put together, including 3 public works staff members and 2 fire department members. Evaluation process consists of reviewing 6 of the 9 SOQs we received. 3 did not submit the required documents and were disqualified. So we had 6 to choose from, and 3 firms were selected for interviews the first week of August. Some of the interview criteria consisted of observation of existing conditions and key personnel or key project info, identification of issues that needed to be considered, and approach to planning construction, as well as their experience working with a CMAR, a construction manager at risk, as Chief mentioned. The review committee ranked and unanimously selected Perlman Architects for their experience and the quality of their SOQ and their interview. Scope and fee negotiations were initiated on September 11th of this year, and the final scope and fee proposal was approved by staff on October 17th. Prescott Fire and Public Works is recommending award of a contract to Perlman Architects of Phoenix in the amount of $2,427,218.13. Funding for this project is budgeted in FY26 in the general fund, and the funding source is the dedicated sales tax established by voter-approved Proposition 478. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the design contract.
any questions or concerns from the council? Councilwoman Furworth.
Just one question about Station 72, since I just was there pushing a truck in. Do we really think that we're going to substantially save any of that? I mean, why are we going through the process of looking at whether we can? I looked at the size of the lot for the other. It had actually even the same shape, just one is oriented differently than the other. I was like, why can't we just build a station? Or is it because when we built the 478 budget assumptions, did we assume that we were only salvaging some and the cost was going to be less? No, you say no.
Go ahead.
So I heard 2 parts. Let me address that first one. I have a feeling that Perlman is not going to have to go very far if indeed the answer is what you've indicated, that we have to take that station basically down to the ground and rebuild it. So we're not anticipating spending money on a foregone conclusion if indeed that third-party expert is going to tell us, hey, This doesn't make any sense. In terms of the costs, because we own the land and there's significant infrastructure already in place to tap into, absolutely the building costs are going to be significantly lower. Now, the programming at that station is also going to be slightly different. So the two stations, Station 73 and Station 76, are going to use the same base design contract. And one thing we haven't covered is that the additional station that 478 is authorizing, Station 77, is also going to use that base design contract. The reason why I bring that up is because the footprint of Station 72 is going to be significantly different. It may be a two-story station. It may be a completely different design. And again, when we interviewed Perlman, they were one of the firms that really rose to the top in the ability to navigate our proposed budget. We did tell them, here is what the capital dollars look like that are approved for the collective of these projects. Can you do that within that financial envelope? And they assured us definitely they can deliver a project that will help us with the programming that we're trying to propose.
Thank you.
Very good. No more comments and no public comment. And we'll entertain a motion for this.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-1907.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
I think there's another motion, right?
Mayor, I move to approve city contract number 2026-098.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 6-1.
All right, we'll move to item 11B.
Approval of design build city contract number 2026-066 with Danson Construction LLC for the Prescott Fire Training Tower.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tim Sherwood, Public Works again. This item is for the new fire training tower to be located at the site where the old fire training tower used to be many years ago. Again, this was a design build contract, so this is where we bring the architect or the engineer and the construction team together as one unit. Again, it's a qualification-based procurement, so SOQs again, our SOQs again were advertised in May. We did do a mandatory pre-proposal meeting on May 28th. And the SOQs were opened on June 12th of this year. Again, some of the evaluation criteria consisted of the team put together, the design build team, experience and qualifications of the firm and their personnel, proposed project approach, and value added knowledge and experience. So how have they done previously on projects of similar size and scope? The city received 5 statement of qualifications. A 5-member review committee again was convened with public works staff and fire department. The review committee ranked and unanimously selected Danson Construction. Scope and fee negotiations were initiated at the end of July of this year, and final scope and fee was approved on October 6th of this year. Prescott Fire and Public Works is recommending award of a contract to Danson Construction of Prescott, Arizona in the amount of $2,823,026.52. Funding for the project is budgeted in FY26 in the general fund, and again, funding source is the dedicated sales tax established by voter-approved Proposition 478. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Comments or concerns from the council? Councilman Montoya.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. Once upon a time, I remember going out to the training facility with our fire chief and meeting with Congressman Crane to talk about congressional directed spending to help with this task. I just was curious if we ever got anything out of that or if anything came to fruition with that from Congressman Crane's office.
I can answer that question. Good afternoon, almost evening, Mayor Council. Scott Ludeman with Fire. We have submitted 3 times for that grant and have not had success.
That is too bad to hear. Thank you.
Councilman Gambogi.
I was there when Joe Baines tore down the old training tower, and I think our fire chief said he was going to make like Lego blocks from old box cars or something. How does stacking a bunch of box cars together cost $2.8 million?
In your packet is the price bid schedule. That's part of it. Let me get here real quick, guys. I apologize. So the purchase and the installation of the tower components is around $1.5 million. But there's a very large amount of site prep that has to go on. All the existing concrete that's there now currently has to be demoed. The subgrade has to be prepped. There will be a detention basin built on site to capture the water whenever they use this facility, so the water won't just run off adjacent into Watson Woods or the lake. So there's a lot of components to go with this. And Scott can correct me if I'm wrong too. One of the nice things about this structure is that this structure can be dismantled and taken to another location if that's something that's required somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to, I guess, echo similar feelings that I did for the fire station location. I just wish that as a city that we would have a shift in mentality and not decide to co-locate public works facilities and fire station facilities adjacent to recreational facilities. I understand we need this training facility, but I think a much better location would be like at the airport. We owned a lot of land at the airport, and I don't think it's compatible at all. And I know I'm the lone guy saying this, and I'm a naturalist, and I love nature, and I spend a lot of time on that trail in Watson Woods. But this year, for the very first time in history, we had successful nesting bald eagles in Watson Woods, probably about 200 yards from where this facility's going to be built. Maybe maximum 200 yards, might be less than 200 yards. And I think we need to be sensitive to issues like this. I just don't think, I'm not against the project, I'm just opposed to the location. I think we need to stop building things adjacent to our recreational facilities. We should value our recreation facilities more. There are other locations we can put these two facilities, whether it's a fire station or the training facility.
Councilwoman Furworth.
Well, I actually do agree with you. I think the amount of, I've never participated in one of your exercises, but I would imagine there's going to be a fair amount of smoke. And not only was I concerned about the hikers and the horses going through here, but now to hear there's bald eagles and bald eagle babies in here is kind of concerning as well. So, I am concerned. This is the first time when I got the packet that I saw this was where the fire tower was going. And I don't know if there's, the airport, I know smoking by the airport is not a necessarily great plan either. I know we just bought a bunch of property along the highway to put an evidence facility. There's, land back further south. I just think we do need to be a little more creative about the location of this.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, Tim, and probably the chief as well. So there is a way to be compatible. I believe that. I think that we can do some masking around it, either through trees or whatever. But Chief, I've been to those towers before, and aren't those gas? Don't you turn the fire on and turn them off?
So yes, historically on the tower that we had and we demolished, that was completely Class A, which is combustible materials, pallets, plywood, things of that nature. This tower, we're going to combine Class A, 2 burn buildings that are Class A, and one burn building that's Class B, which is a gas, which is what you're talking about. We need both for training. Our neighbors over at CAFMA, they have Class A and Class B. I'll be honest with you, most of the time their Class B tower is malfunctioning. This system will be much easier to use and more simple. It's really just turn dials as opposed to a computer system that CAFMA uses. It's very important that we have both. For new hires, especially with the amount of new hires that we've had coming in lately, we can teach them in the Class B much safer, much more controlled, get them used to the heat, get them used to the atmosphere, and then move them into the Class A, which is going to be more realistic to a structure fire that we respond to in there.
But in terms of the actual smoke that will be coming up out of that, the class, what you're saying is the Class A is the gas?
The Class A is combustible material.
Combustible,
with smoke.
okay.
The Class B will be gas, which won't produce smoke.
Can you give us an idea how often you'll be using?
As far as fire activities, right now we're required once a year to put every member through fire.
Okay.
Aside from our recruit academies, we'll be using it a little more, but I would say, we have 6 engines, gonna have 6 engines in it.
Yeah, I've been to several of those training facilities, and I've seen them, and I have never seen them generate a ton of smoke. But then back to the first question of screening. Has anybody thought about that with the facility, screening it with some natural component or maybe a combination of a block wall and some trees that would grow up and mask it through the area?
I think right now the limited ability to put anything around there is gonna...
It's limited?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's going to be right there at that location with the street around it on the other side. You're not going to have much. The trees that are there now, obviously it's between Watson and the pea vine. It's not going to give much space from the pea vine itself to the training facility, but it will be limited as far as the amount.
Well, we certainly don't want those trees to catch on fire.
Right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to point out for the public that there's a series of facilities that are parallel to the Peavine Trail from the parking lot down to the lake. If you start on the north end, there's the police shooting range. And then the next facility is the fire training facility. And then the next facility is the transfer station with the trucks coming in and they're dumping all their trash. And then the dust and the smell. And then the next facility is, I think, for the roads, the cinders and then the next facility is the tires. And this is our crown jewel, the Peavine Trail. The location of this tower is less than 75 yards from the Peavine Trail. So you have bikers, joggers, dog walkers, bird watchers, nature lovers, people on horseback, within 75 yards of a shooting range and a fire training facility and these other facilities. And I just think we need to change our mentality. I just want to go on the record that I'm not in favor of this location. I have no problem with the facility, it's the location.
Mayor and Council, one of the things that I wanted to bring up on this is when we were originally scoping 478, one of the things that we did look at was a relocation. Unfortunately, when we did the scoping of that, that was an additional $40 million at least in capital investment on top of the 478. And that was one of those pieces that was removed in order to make it a little bit easier for us to finance the overall comprehensive package. What you mentioned, Councilmember Moore, has been a conversation within the fire department for a very long time. With the potential even of Storm Ranch getting developed above that site, many of those concerns we echo. It is, however, the location that we currently have. And one of the instructions I did give to my staff is we'd been looking at this problem so long that the tower finally had to not just get decommissioned to burn, which happened right around the year 2000, but finally had to actually get knocked down. One of the interesting components of this is even our insurance services office's rating is connected to us having a facility like that to train in. And so for us, it was balancing that exigency with the location. And again, one of the reasons why it's modular is we do hope at some point to be able to propose to this council a capital project with funding that has not yet been identified, not just for us, but for the police department as well, to relocate to a more commensurate facility for future training. However, for now, we had to execute and move forward with this project as proposed.
I just want to say, to the heavy use, over 100,000 people use the Peavine Trail every year. And you're walking down the trail and you're hearing gunfire And you have front end loaders and you have the semis, and then let's say a fire exercise is going on. This really is the crowning jewel of our city. It leads into the Dells and the beauty of Watson Lake and the Dells. And it's just so incompatible, I just can't support it.
Mayor Pro Tem, you had a comment? No? Do we have any public comment on this?
We do not, Mayor.
No, then I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve city contract number 2026-066.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Passes 5-2.
Okay, we'll move on to item 11C.
Adoption of resolution number 2025-1948, approving a shift and extension of the primary commercial service runway at Prescott Regional Airport, Ernest A. Love Field.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Rick Kreider, I serve as your airport director. Wanted to go back a little bit in time. About a month ago, September 23rd, we had a study session when we looked at the notion of shifting the runway at the same time that we extend it. And direction of council was to come back with a resolution that kind of encapsulated that and some steps and a way forward. So a quick summary of that, of our study session, it was really the culmination of a 7-month process whereby we had a consultant that had 2 public meetings that took place at the Centennial Center back in June of the summer. We had, we at that point proposed the merits of the shift, which included a reduction of the OEI splay penetration, or the ability to penetrate that splay. We talked about the potential for an end-around taxiway, the shift of the runway protection zone to the northeast, and eventually the noise, really easing the noise or moving those noise contours to the northeast as the runway shifted and extended. We had 61 attendees on the first night, 40 attendees on the second night, total of 27 comments. And I think that Charlie did a great job of talking about the generally positive comments associated with this for all the reasons just mentioned. Shifting of the noise, relief of the OEI splay, the relief of the potential penetration of the existing splay, and really the new environment that had a much higher splay that preserved the safety of the airport. In total, once we talked about the other kind of secondary, when you shift the runway at the same time you extend it, you at the end of the day move the threshold of the prevailing runway by about 0.6 of a mile to the northeast. So a variety of good things, and I think we had a great conversation. Again, council asked staff to go back and prepare a resolution. So here we are today with the resolution with some recommendations. Really 3 things. One is to embrace the shift itself at the same time as the extension, but also to really cease the pursuit of acquiring those parcels. The map on the screen shows originally the city contemplated acquisition of 8 parcels. You may recall back in the spring, council approved the purchase, and we've now done that. The parcel that resides between Highway 89, James Lane, and Willow Creek. So that parcel, I believe it's 38 acres, has now been acquired. So we have that to preserve that extended center line of the runway. So the second recommendation of this is to cease the acquisition of the other 7 parcels, at the same time making sure that we don't make the existing splay any worse. So working with community development, prospective developers to make sure that the housing and the things that occur within the approved development agreement don't make things worse, right? And we know that we have some existing power lines there and some existing housing. So that's the second recommendation. And then the third is to pursue the professional services that move this project forward, to include the environmental assessment, the testing, and design necessary to achieve this. A quick recap on that point, we have, you may recall that in January we resubmitted the forecast again for a benefit cost analysis that would put the FAA in a position to fund the runway extension itself. We got some favorable feedback. By the end of this month, we should know exactly how many feet they've approved. We know they're comfortable with 9,000. We've asked them to consider closer to 9,500. So we're making good progress on that front, to the point that the FAA's district office has asked us to go ahead and begin looking at what are the boundaries of the study area of the assessment would be, looking at the tribal and the historical impacts. So we are making some good project, and knock on wood, fingers crossed, we hope that by the end of the year we'll have an environmental assessment underway. They have in fact programmed our entitlement dollars for that for this next fiscal year. So with that, I'll stop talking. I know it's a big project. We want to kind of put a bow on it for you with this resolution that kind of encapsulates the conversation that's happened previously, the public comment that we've received, and then again some direction forward. So I'll stop talking, Mayor. Any questions that you might have?
Any comments or concerns from council? No. Well, I know this is an important realignment, so to speak. And I think we continue to have pretty solid support from the FAA. I know the air traffic control tower is really, quite frankly, a totally separate issue. It's funded separately. It's managed from a different federal agency, but they have to work together.
Yes, sir.
And I think there's a lot of people that are a little concerned that with the lengthening and strengthening, we're going to have a whole bunch of 737 MAXs showing up here every week. But they just have to understand that these regional jets are not being built anymore, the 50-seaters. So being able to continue to provide maybe additional locations, possibly even a new carrier, but they're still going to be most likely regional jets, and then being able to have a strong enough runway to continue to be the primary wildfire fighting slurry bomber airport in the whole northern part of the state, I think is just critically important. So this is just, I think, a first step that we're taking, that the bigger issue, that longer runway and strengthening is so critically important that we get that approved, funded, and then built. I mean, even the best case scenario, we're probably looking at what, 5 to 7 years?
I think 5 years. Yeah, I think that's a good range.
So let's hope we can move forward with that. And this is I think, a good proposal. There's going to be a lot of people in the Westwood and Saddlewood and Southwood areas that are going to appreciate a little less noise.
Yes, sir.
And being able to get some of those training Cessnas up in the air a little faster, a little higher, will also benefit their concerns too. All right, do we have any public comment on this?
We do not.
Well, hearing no more concerns from the council and the Montoya?
Ted, go.
Go, Ted.
All right, well then I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 2025 year of my birth, 1948.
Second.
Second.
You're old.
Please vote.
Passes 7-0.
That concludes our agenda today.
Actually, we have one
We
more
have
item there.
BCC updates.
Thank you. I'll be really brief. I just received an update from one of our council members regarding their liaison responsibilities for a tourism advisory committee. The tourism advisory committee will be celebrating their accomplishments for this year at a gathering on November 5th. One of the highlights for the year was their recommendation and ultimately council's approval on July 8th for a total of more than $85,000 in tourism grant awards for some of our local nonprofits that host events within the city. That meant 67% of all of the submitted award requests, which is really, really good for the community. Also this summer, TAC worked on the launch of the Prescott Whiskey Trail, which follows in the successful footsteps of the Verde Valley Wine Trail and the Flagstaff Beer Trail. It's a free digital passport program that includes 21 bars in the area serving whiskey drinks all over Greater Prescott. Participants can sign up via experienceprescott.com. Things to do and enter the Prescott Whiskey Trail. It's a pass that allows participants and their designated drivers to play and win prizes by visiting a minimum of 4 bars to a maximum of all current 21 bars. Can't imagine what that end of the night would be like. Within 3 months. Prizes can be claimed at the Chamber of Commerce, and the 4-bar Whiskey Trail Shot Glass Prize has been a huge hit over the summer, and council shared the concept at the League of Arizona Cities and Towns conference as well, and I know that it went over really well at that. Upcoming board and commission meetings over the next month or so. On November 3rd, the council subcommittee on appointments will meet to review applications for the couple of boards that had some vacancies. Council will ultimately approve those recommendations at the November 18th meeting. Mayor's Veterans Commission will meet on November 5th at 9 a.m. Planning and Zoning Commission has a November 13th meeting scheduled. Prescott Preservation Commission will meet on November 14th. CDBG Community Needs Workshop will be held on November 19th, and the Board of Adjustment will meet on November 20th. All meeting dates and times are subject to change, but that is what we have for now, and all agendas will be posted at least 48 to 72 hours in advance of the meeting.
Very good. Now I think our agenda is complete.
Now it is.
So I'm just going to say, may God bless the great state of Arizona. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless Prescott. This meeting's adjourned.